Forspoken'S about to come out in a couple days, except it has a couple problems. I'm not talking about the issues people are taking with its jarring graphics, because that's a little subjective. Nor am I talking about the fact that it needs a fucking RTX 4080, 32 gigs of RAM, and 150 gigabytes of storage space just to run mediocre graphics. No, the issue is far beyond technical. The issue is, dare I say, cringe. There's no software update that can fix poor character writing or design, and even if you somehow did, that would create different experiences for players who would play the game after a patch. First up, the girl talks to her cuff. This is acknowledged by the game as being strange, but this directly reminds me of the bone-hurting juice that was displayed in the game High on Life, where your weapon is saying some of the most mind-numbing dialogue ever.
I'm talking to a cuff!
The difference? That game actually acknowledges it. It at least tries to be self-aware to soften the blow of serving you something unfunny. Forspoken, on the other hand, nah. It's either just really bland dialogue, or words that have a disconnect from what you'd actually expect someone to say in the situations that Frey has been put in. Why don't we look at a few examples?
Based here.
Yeah, not my scene at all. Let's not stick around.
Okay, so the main character who just got a magic cuff and the ability to fly suddenly has no interest? She's not in awe of anything. She gives a bunch of stunning visuals the same treatment as walking into an empty parking lot.
That's not what I would call Earth. I'm seeing freaking dragons.
And in that clip, even the voice actor sounds like she's about to fall asleep here. Her reaction to dragons is just, I'm seeing freaking dragons. Really? Is that it? Are you sure you can't come up with anything more poetic than that? And not to get a little sidetracked here, but the lackluster dialogue just gets worse when it's being delivered on these stiff visuals, which, by the way, you might be running on a 4080. All that effort into trying to write witty dialogue, but the funniest joke they could come up with are the system requirements.
I sense a hostile presence. Be on your guard.
Yeah, stay frosty. Got it.
That'll teach you.
Yeah, what he said!
There's so much vocal clutter in the game. When you see things, Frey or the cuff say mindless stuff, which is just information that's obvious to the player, and that is space that would much rather be used by interesting dialogue. And in this next example, notice how the game doesn't even take context for dialogue into consideration.
It's a moment's discomfort.
Yes. Worst place that works, right?
Here, Frey is being battered by an enemy and the dialogue continues in such a detached manner. The problem is, Square Enix previously stated that the memes around Forspoken'S dialogue are out of context, and for sure, I'd take their word for it, except now we've had a demo for a while, and the fact that the game actually lets you have characters talk less means they have very little faith in their own ability to write interesting and meaningful dialogue. They've basically given you a mute button for the writing that they botched. So yeah, that's a little something to watch out for before you actually purchase the game, because the dialogue is a little more than just rough around the edges. But hey, if it's any saving grace, at least the game looks pretty solid in terms of the combat, even if the main character is more annoying to us than the cuff is to her.